There is a habit going around at the moment, and it has a certain charm to it. A spoonful of olive oil, taken last thing at night, right before bed. And the claims attached to it are enormous. People say it repairs your body while you sleep, that it burns fat overnight, that it cleans out your arteries in the dark while you are lying there doing nothing at all. Some of that is true, and a surprising amount of it is not. So tonight, I want to do something slightly different from the usual video on this. I'm going to tell you exactly what olive oil genuinely does for a body over 60, which is quite a lot. And then I am going to be honest with you about the bedtime part, because that is where things get shaky, and almost nobody says so. Quick question before we start. Have you already tried this, or is tonight the first you are hearing of it? Just type "already do it" or "first time" in the comments. I would like to see the split. Right, let us begin with something that matters more than the timing ever will. The bottle in your kitchen might not count. This is not a small detail. This is the whole thing. When researchers study olive oil and find impressive results, they are almost always studying extra virgin olive oil, not light olive oil, not pure olive oil, not the pale, mild, inoffensive stuff in the big plastic bottle that costs very little and tastes of almost nothing. The reason is simple. Extra virgin oil is pressed mechanically, without heat or chemical processing. That gentle handling is what preserves a family of plant compounds called polyphenols. Refining strips most of them out, and the polyphenols are the point. The fat in olive oil is perfectly good fat, but you can get monounsaturated fat from plenty of places. The polyphenols are what make olive oil unusual. So if you have been taking a spoonful every night from a bottle labeled light olive oil, I am sorry to tell you that you have mostly been swallowing calories. There is a simple test for this, and I will come back to it near the end. For now, remember one word: peppery. Number 1. The compound behind the peppery sting. This is one of my favorite stories in nutrition research because it started with somebody noticing something odd. A scientist named Gary Beauchamp was at a conference in Sicily and tasted some very fresh olive oil. It gave him a strange, stinging, scratchy feeling at the back of his throat, and he recognized it because he had spent years studying the sensory properties of ibuprofen, and liquid ibuprofen does exactly the same thing. That coincidence bothered him enough to go and investigate. What his team found was published in the journal Nature in 2005. Fresh extra virgin olive oil contains a compound they named oleocanthal. And in the laboratory, oleocanthal blocks the same two enzymes that ibuprofen blocks, the ones called COX-1 and COX-2, which sit at the front of your body's inflammation pathway. Now I want to be very careful here, because this is the exact point where most videos get carried away. This does not mean a spoonful of olive oil is the same as taking a painkiller. It is not. That research was done on cells in a laboratory, not on people in pain. And when researchers worked out the equivalent dose, they estimated that around 50 grams of extra virgin olive oil a day gives you roughly 1/10 of the anti-inflammatory effect of a normal adult dose of ibuprofen. 1/10, taken slowly, in food. So please do not skip your medication for a spoon of oil. That is not what this is, but here is why it still matters. The kind of inflammation that troubles you after 60 is usually not the sharp kind that needs a painkiller. It is the low-level, background, always slightly simmering kind, the kind that sits underneath stiff joints and tired mornings, and a body that takes longer to bounce back than it used to. Something that nudges that pathway gently every single day for years is a completely different tool from a tablet you take when something hurts. And there is a practical angle to this that I think gets overlooked. A lot of people over 60 have been told, quite rightly, to be careful with anti-inflammatory painkillers. They can be hard on the stomach lining. They can affect the kidneys. Taken regularly over years, they carry real risks, and most doctors would rather you did not lean on them daily. That leaves a lot of people in an awkward spot. The stiffness is real, but the easy solution is one they have been advised to use sparingly. I'm not going to tell you a spoonful of oil replaces that. It does not, and I would not want you to hear it that way. But when something in your ordinary food nudges the same pathway with none of that risk attached, it is at least worth putting on the plate. Stay with me, because the next one is where the strongest evidence in this whole video lives. Number 2, what it does to your cholesterol. This is the best supported claim about olive oil, and it comes at us from two directions. The first is a formal one. In Europe, food companies are not allowed to make health claims unless a scientific panel has reviewed the evidence and signed it off. Most claims get rejected. Olive oil polyphenols got through. Under European regulation, a bottle is permitted to say that its polyphenols contribute to the protection of blood lipids from oxidative stress. Let me translate that, because it is drier than it deserves to be. The problem with cholesterol was never really the cholesterol sitting quietly in your blood. The trouble starts when LDL particles become oxidized, which is a bit like fat going rancid. Oxidized LDL is far more likely to become lodged in an artery wall and start the slow process that narrows it. What the panel accepted is that olive oil polyphenols help protect those particles from that damage. But there is a condition attached, and this is the useful part. The claim is only permitted for oils containing at least 5 milligrams of hydroxytyrosol and related compounds per 20 grams of oil. 20 grams is roughly a tablespoon and a half. Weak, over-refined oil does not qualify. Again, it comes back to the bottle. The second direction is the human evidence. There is a large Spanish study called PREDIMED, which followed more than 7,000 people aged 55 to 80 who were already at high cardiovascular risk, exactly the group watching this video. Within that study, people consuming the most extra virgin olive oil had a substantially lower rate of cardiovascular events than those consuming the least. Researchers calculated that for every additional 10 grams a day, cardiovascular risk was around 10% lower. I have to be fair about what that means. That particular analysis is observational, so it shows a strong association rather than proving cause on its own. But it sits alongside the trial evidence and the laboratory work, and all three point the same way. That is about as good as nutrition evidence gets. Number 3. Blood sugar and appetite. This one is more modest, but genuinely useful, particularly if your evenings are where things tend to go wrong. Fat slows down how quickly your stomach empties. That is a straightforward bit of physiology, and it has two consequences. The first is that when fat is present, sugars from the rest of your meal arrive in your bloodstream more gradually. Instead of a sharp spike and the slump that follows, you get something flatter and gentler. For anyone managing blood sugar, or anyone who simply finds themselves wide awake at 3 in the morning for no obvious reason, that steadier curve is worth having. The second is fullness. Fat is quite good at telling your brain that you have eaten. It triggers the release of hormones that signal satiety, and it does it fairly reliably. This one is worth thinking about carefully, because appetite changes as we age, and it does not always change in the direction people expect. Some people over 60 find their appetite fades. Food stops being interesting. Portions shrink without them really deciding to shrink them, and slowly they end up undernourished while eating what feels like a normal amount. For that person, a spoonful of olive oil is a genuinely useful thing. It is a concentrated source of good calories that does not require chewing through a plate full of food. Other people find the opposite. The appetite is fine, but the evening grazing has crept up over the years. For that person, the same spoonful works in the other direction entirely by taking the edge off. Same food, two completely different jobs, depending on which one you are, which is worth knowing before you decide whether this habit is for you at all. Which brings us, rather neatly, to the part of this video I actually want you to remember. Number 4. The honest truth about the before bed part. Here is where I am going to disagree with almost everything else you will find on this subject. If you go looking, you will be told that nighttime is metabolically special. That your body enters a repair window while you sleep, and olive oil arrives at exactly the right moment. That there is such a thing as circadian fat metabolism, which makes evening oil work better. I went looking for the evidence behind those claims. It is not there. There is no good clinical research showing that olive oil taken at bedtime does anything that olive oil taken at lunchtime does not. Every large study I mentioned earlier, including PREDIMED, measured how much people consumed, not when. The benefits are attached to the total amount in your diet, not the hour on the clock. I know that is less exciting than an overnight repair window, but I would rather tell you the truth and have you trust the rest of what I say. Now, having said all that, I do think there is a real reason to do this at night. It is just not a metabolic one. Now, having said all that, I do think there is a real reason to do this at night. It is just not a metabolic one. It is a behavioral one, and honestly, it might be the more powerful of the two. Habits survive when they are attached to something you already do without thinking. You already brush your teeth. You already turn off the lamp. Slotting a spoonful of oil into that sequence means you will actually still be doing it in 8 months, which is the only time frame where any of this matters. And there is a second thing. For a great many people, the evening is where the diet quietly falls apart. Not at breakfast, not at lunch, at 9:30, in front of the television, with a bowl of something. A spoonful of olive oil closes the kitchen. It marks the end of eating for the day, and it takes the edge off the urge that would otherwise send you back in there. So yes, take it at night. Just take it at night because it is a good place to hang a habit, not because your cells are waiting up for it. We have one section left, and it is the one that matters most for safety. Please do not skip it. Number 5. Who should not do this? I would not be doing my job if I sent you off to swallow oil without covering this. If you have acid reflux or heartburn, be careful. Fat relaxes the valve at the top of your stomach and slows emptying. Lying down flat shortly afterwards is close to a perfect recipe for reflux. If this is you, either leave a good hour before lying down or take your olive oil with dinner instead and get the same benefit without the discomfort. If you have gallbladder problems or you have had gallstones, speak to your doctor first. Fat triggers your gallbladder to contract. That is normal and healthy in most people. But if you have stones sitting in there, it is not something to experiment with casually. If you take medication for blood sugar or cholesterol, mention it to your doctor. Not because olive oil is dangerous, because it may genuinely shift your numbers, and numbers moving is a reason to have your dose reviewed rather than a reason to guess. And one that people forget entirely. A tablespoon of olive oil is about 120 calories. That is not a problem in itself. But if you are adding it on top of everything else you already eat, rather than replacing butter or another oil somewhere in your day, it adds up quietly over months. How to buy a bottle that is actually worth it. Here is the test I promised you, and it costs nothing. Pour a very small amount into a spoon and taste it on its own. You are looking for 3 things: a grassy green smell, a slight bitterness across the tongue, and then a few seconds later, a peppery catch at the back of your throat. Some people cough. That cough is a good sign. That sting is the oleocanthal. It is the compound doing the work. Fresh, well-made, polyphenol-rich oil has it. Old, refined, over-processed oil does not. Beyond that, buy dark glass rather than clear, because light degrades the polyphenols. Look for a harvest date rather than just an expiry date, and choose the most recent one you can find. And keep the bottle in a cupboard, not next to the stove where it is warm and bright. One last thought. I find something quite reassuring in how this one turned out. We went looking for a clever trick, a special hour, a window where the body does something magical that it does not do the rest of the day, and it was not there. What was there instead was better, in a way. A good oil, a decent amount of it. Taken often enough, for long enough, that it stops being a thing you are trying and becomes a thing you simply do. That is most of health after 60, if I am honest with you. Not clever, just consistent. If you found this useful, subscribing helps more people find these videos. I put out 2 a week, all grounded in real research, and I will always tell you when the evidence is thin, rather than dressing it up. Let me know in the comments whether you were already doing this, and whether your bottle passes the peppery test. I suspect a few of you are about to go and check. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.